I used to be fearful of losing $5,000. Now putting $250 on the line, it doesn't even make me flinch. I literally cashed out my 401k and I walked away from a $200,000 income job, which most people never quit, and I went all in. Everyone told me it's too risky. And that's why 99% of people are broke. I knew nothing about business, nothing about real estate investing 6 years ago, and that's when I woke up. I just wasted 33 years of my life, literally.
I'm shocked to hear you say that, knowing you.
Men are supposed to go out there and provide, hunt, and that's just not the age that we live in today, unfortunately. Guys will go on a first date with a woman, they'll let the woman pay the bill. They're weak. This is the best time ever in the history of America to be alive. Technology, AI, YouTube. We can access knowledge and gain information so quickly today. The best way to make more money is to...
Most men die at 25, but aren't buried until they're 75.
I think it's a stat right now. More than 50% of men in the ages between the ages of 20 and 30 live at home with their parents. That's a real thing. I always say months is the best way to measure how much time we have left, not years. Months is the best way to measure how much time we have left. I'm 39. Average life expectancy for a male is 77 years old. I have about 456 months left on this planet. That's going to go by like this. And so back not too long ago, I used to play video games. I used to watch fantasy football. I used to do all the sports stuff. That used to be my excited thing to do. That's what broke people do. And when I realized how short this life really is, when you put it in perspective of 456 months, it makes it a lot easier for me to take action. And it makes it a lot easier for me to realize, hey, I want to build a legacy. I want to build something cool. Happiness stems from growth and progress. And yeah, man, it's sad. It's a sad thing, but it really tells you how low the bar really is for those that truly want this game. And I want it so bad. I want it so bad.
I think you want it more than anyone that I've ever seen.
Yes.
Yeah. And so most men die at 25, but aren't buried until they're 75.
It's true.
What are you saying about the mental state of men right now?
They're weak. They're weak. There's a reason why I hire women on my team, because a lot of men are weak. They're sensitive. A lot of them aren't action takers. The days of us, you know, if you go back to the ancestral period, like men are providers. Men are supposed to go out there and provide, hunt, provide food for their families. And that's just not the age that we live in today, unfortunately, with technology and the way things have maybe from a political standpoint as well. I think less and less men are empowered to go out there and make a name for themselves. And I think a lot of that stems from women don't need men anymore. They just don't. Like, think about how many women now like go to college, become a successful doctor, attorney. There's a lot of successful female real estate investors and entrepreneurs. Like, some of the wealthiest women in America are women. Like look at Oprah Winfrey, for example, right? She's a female billionaire. Look at Kylie Jenner, a female billionaire at the age of 20, 21. Like, think about that, dude. And so the days of men needed to be a providers is no longer a thing. And so because of that, I think it's harder and harder as a guy to really find your purpose, find your why, and find your desire. And so as a function of it, I think you're seeing more and more men just decide to stay at home and live in their parents' basement and play video games.
Do you think it has to do with like comfort?
Yes, it's part of it. Think about this, bro. We all live in like nice, for the most part, unless you're homeless. Even being homeless, it can be a pretty fruitful thing these days. Think about it. Like, we're not out in the weather. We're not out in like the dynamic. We're not in these like, we don't have these barriers and the pressure behind us to go and grind and hustle. Some of us do, but most people are not cut out for it.
Yeah, and then society continues to find ways to make us more comfortable.
Yes.
All of us, right? They give us these distractions. They also tell us, go get a degree, go get a job. And then that's starting to collapse a little bit given the advent of AI.
Dude, I was there, bro. So like, I was taught from a young age to go to school, get good grades, go to college, get a job. And I did all those things, you know, diversify, play it safe, invest in your 401k. I did all those things. And that was me. And at age 34, I woke up and I was like, dude, what the fuck? This is going to be the rest of my life? And that's when I woke up. I knew nothing about business, nothing about real estate investing 6 years ago. And that's when I woke up. And that was my calling. And that's why I'm like, dude, I don't have time to waste. I just wasted 33 years of my life. Literally. I was playing Madden, Call of Duty, and I was literally playing fantasy football. I was in 5 fantasy football season leagues. And I would literally have 25 DraftKings lineups on a Sunday, and I'd be like glued to the TV, and that was like my high. It's like, dude, now I could care less about football.
I'm shocked to hear you say that, knowing you,
yeah,
and knowing how you operate.
I've always been obsessed with something. That was my obsession before.
I believe that you were obsessed,
Yeah.
and I believe that you were trying to be the best.
Yeah, I
but
was.
but I think there's this saying, there's this phrase of don't do like a 10 out of 10 execution on a 1 out of 10 opportunity, right? There's so many people I think that are like you that are excellent at things. They get obsessed, they're driven, they go for it. Whatever they take on, they're going to be like the best at. But they do it on 1 out of 10 opportunities. They waste it on 5 fantasy football teams and sports betting, and they don't know, either they don't know or they don't want to know what it would be like to go and take the leap into something else.
Yeah, you got to take the risk. Now I'm playing real life fantasy football, right? And that's more exciting to me. I'm making moves in real life. I'm taking risk, and I'm like, dude, I have 456 months left. I don't want to spend those. I don't want to spend my limited time watching fantasy football, watching sports, playing video games. Like it does nothing for me, nothing. But it used to, because that was my life and that's all I knew.
Was there a moment where you're like, I'm done with this?
No. I loved what I did as an air traffic controller, and I love a lot of those people. A lot of them invest with me today. I still miss the career because it's fun. I loved it. I just got over it. I was like, dude, I need to continue growing. I need to continue progressing. And that's when I was like, okay, what's the next thing? And that's when I discovered real estate investing. But I'll say this, man. The last thing I'll say about it is this. It's not just society. I believe this whole thing is a system. And so I believe that you have 3 components: the central government, you have Wall Street, and you have the central banking system. Okay. All 3 of those work together, and they have an alignment of interest and breed middle-class people. And so they want people to sit at home and play video games. They want people to go get a high-income earning job, right? They want you to go to college and get, right? So think about it. They teach you, get good grades, go to school, go to college. When you go to college, you get student loan debt. That's cash flow for the central banking system. And then after college, what do they tell you? Go get a job. And if you get a college degree, you get a high-income earning job. And the high-income earning W-2 jobs pay the highest tax bracket. That's cash flow for the federal government in the form of income taxes. And then what do they tell you? They say, go buy a single-family house, and now you go get locked up into a 30-year mortgage. That's cash flow for the central banking system. And they say, play it safe, diversify, invest in your 401k. They teach you stocks. They teach you the S&P 500. They teach you the NASDAQ index funds. But they don't teach you real estate investing. They don't teach you how to start a business. But when you invest in Wall Street and you invest in a 401k, that's cash flow for Wall Street. And so that's why I believe all 3 of them, the central banking system, the federal government, and Wall Street, have an alignment of interest to breed middle-class people, because without the middle-class people, none of this exists. And so going back to the original quote, yes, I believe that most men die at 25 because of the system.
When you start to think about it as a system, and that these people are required to keep the systems running, food, the lights, power, internet, all these utilities, waste, like everything, all the components that make up the things that support society.
Yeah.
You need the middle class people, and you need to create a situation where they have to keep their jobs. So the consumerism, which is capitalism, but the growth and the purchasing and the consuming also keeps people trapped and underwater, because the wages are meant to keep people down and limit so that profits go to shareholders, right? This is the system that we live in. But when you start to think about it like that, what you're saying actually makes a whole lot of sense.
Look, dude, I got employees that work for me, bro, but I don't run it like that. I give my employees a split of a rev share. The leaders on my team that earn it get a slice of all the equity of all the hotels that we buy in Summers Capital. And I look at them as partners, not as employees. And so, look, I don't believe in the system. I didn't know anything about how to escape the system. I was not educated on it. And if you are educated on the system and that's your choice to work in the system and you're happy with it, then I think that's perfectly fine and you should continue doing it as long as you're happy. But if you're not educated on it, you need to go get educated.
I totally agree. If you're happy in it, I think that's totally fine.
Yes.
But when you do pull back and you look at it, like there are these components that you're like, oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That is how it is set up and designed, whether malicious or not.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I can't sit here on a podcast, and I talk about this all the time on social and my podcast. I can't sit here and be like poo-pooing the system. I came from the system. But I also can't be sitting here and poo-pooing the system and then have team members that are in the system. And that's why I empower my team members and I make them think like entrepreneurs, and I think of them as partners, and I call them team members. I never call them employees.
Yeah, I agree with you. All right, next one. Rich Summers. The most
Cassidy Warren, let's go, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, this is fun, dude. All right, the most successful people in the game have survived seasons after seasons after seasons where the hard way is the only way. The game is earned, not given.
Yeah. This one's really good. So, we're on a podcast right now. 80% of podcasts die within the first 10 episodes. That's just a fact. Okay. But everyone looks at these people that have big podcasts, and I think Joe Rogan is probably the prime example. Joe might be the most powerful man in the entire world. Joe has done 3 episodes a week for 16 years, never missed an episode. Showing up 3 times a week for 16 years, never missed an episode. Do you know how hard that is? And when you go take 2 weeks off, 3 weeks off vacation, that means you got to pre-record 9 episodes. You know how hard that is? For 16 years. And Joe might be the most powerful person in the entire world right now. He has the ability to pick up the phone and call presidents, ex-presidents, celebrities, movie stars, any professional athlete, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, and any of those names. Anyone in the entire world will drop everything that they're doing to go hang out with Joe. And it's not because of his UFC stuff with ESPN. It's not because of his stand-up comedian stuff. It is because of his fucking podcast. And so people see that outcome and they think, man, I really want the end result. But then they get into a podcast and they start it and they get 10 episodes in and then they give up. That is 99% of people. And that's why 99% of people are broke.
So the hard way is the only way. What conditions are you creating in your life to get you through each season?
Number one, you got to go all in. I don't believe in a lot of people start side hustles and they're like in a full-time job and they're like, oh, I'm going to do this hustle on the side. Okay, that's great. But at a certain point, you got to go all in. Okay. And so one, I believe if you really want something bad enough, put yourself in a situation to where you don't have a plan B. Okay. So for example, when I was working a 11-year government career and I got in the real estate space, I didn't just dabble. I literally cashed out my 401k. And shortly after that, I quit my job and I walked away from a pension. I walked away from all the benefits and I walked away from a $200,000 income job, which most people never quit. And I went all in. But when I burned those boats, I cashed out the 401k. I leave that career. Everyone told me it's too risky. Friends, coworkers, colleagues, even family members. Everyone told me it's too risky and all the risks that are aligned. And so I knew in that very time, there's no way in hell that I'm going to go back. There's no way in hell I'm going to go back, right? That's going all in. And so guess what? Since then, there have been a lot of ups and downs. There's a lot of fires to put out. Every single week, there's dozens of fires to put out. That's part of the fucking game. The mistakes are inevitable. I make mistakes every single fucking week. I empower my team to make mistakes every single fucking week. But because I don't have a backup plan, we always figure it out. And so for anyone listening right here, I think the biggest misconception is to think that everyone has it figured out. I think it's easy to open up your phone and look at social media and scroll through TikTok and scroll through Instagram, and all you see is highlight reel after highlight reel after highlight reel. And all you see is all these wins. But what you don't realize is all those people out there, including the big names, the Jeff Bezos, the Elon Musk, the Mark Cubans, all those names. Dude, my biggest takeaway is no one knows what the fuck they're doing, bro. No one knows what the fuck they're doing. Some people did it anyways. When Elon Musk was getting started, no idea what he's doing. He did it anyways. Jeff Bezos started Amazon in a fucking garage. No idea where it was going to go. No idea what he was going to do. But he did it anyways. When I started, I had no idea I was going to buy real estate. I did it anyways. Some of these fucking hotels we buy, I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to buy it, but we're going to figure it out. We fucking did it anyways. And so once you realize that all those successful people out there don't know what the fuck they're doing, but some did it anyways, and the only thing that separates you and all those people out there is that they took action and they did it anyways. And the same thing is for you. If you're listening to this right now, take action. You will figure it out if you want it bad enough. And that's how the game works.
Should everybody become an entrepreneur?
No.
Why?
It's not, bro. A lot of people glamorize being an entrepreneur. And they're like, oh man, it must be nice. The money and the limelight and all this stuff. And dude, they don't see what goes on behind the scenes. There's so much that goes on behind the scenes. You're always working. That's why I said, when I hear people talk about they work 4 hours a day, they don't have a team, they're remote. I'm like, dude, you're not really in it, bro. You're not really in it. This guy doesn't understand the game. I'm like, what is he talking about? That's not how this game works. If you want to become the best, you are in there building it with your fucking team, putting in 12-hour days, and often working Saturdays and Sundays. You're missing a lot of friends' outings. You're getting a lot of phone calls. You're getting pulled in a million directions, left and right. You have to like have tough conversations all the time. You have to hire and fire people. There are so many things that go on in the back end of becoming an entrepreneur that like I think a lot of people don't realize. And I think, quite frankly, a lot of people are just not cut out for it. And it's okay. The game is not for everyone. If it was for everyone and it was easy, then we wouldn't have the middle class, right? We wouldn't have the middle class, and we would not have a government. We would not have Wall Street, and we would not have a central banking system. It is not the game for everyone. And that's why I believe that, I really think that to be a successful entrepreneur, you have to be cut out for it, and you have to be willing to go all in. You have to be able to bet on yourself. You have to be able to take risk and make decisions without knowing the outcome.
Can you tell me about maybe one of the hardest moments that you've had as an entrepreneur?
That's a good question, man. There's so many. There's so many.
Was there one where like you just were like ready to give up at all?
Never. That's the crazy thing. So like all these like crazy things that I've gone through, and shout out to Alex Johnson, by the way, our director of investor relations. Like she's been ride or die with me like from the jump. Me and Alex always joke, like we always figure it out. And like from the outside looking in, I think people think it's all like buttoned up and dialed, but I'm like, we're always just like figuring it out as we go. And that's the fucking truth. And that's how most people probably operate in the space. But we look at them on social media and we're like, man, they have it all figured out. But there's so many, dude. There's so many. Like having $250,000 non-refundable on a hotel and not knowing where the lending is going to come from because the lender pulled out in the 11th hour. The EMD is already hard. And now you have $250,000 of your own money at risk. The lender pulled out. What are you going to do? Right? Another deal with Bodega, we had like $375,000 EMD, non-refundable. What's going to happen? There's a lot of those nights. There's a lot of nights where it's like, hey, how are we going to make payroll? What are we going to do? Where's the money going to come from? But we always figure it out, bro. We always figure it out. And every time you figure it out, it makes you a better version of yourself.
How big was your 401k that you cashed out?
$340,000.
$340,000 was your 401k, and then now you're doing deals where you're putting $250 non-refundable on the line. You're putting $350 non-refundable on the line.
Yeah, and that doesn't even get me out of bed anymore. I'm like, whatever.
Yeah,
it's all perspective, right?
Yeah,
it's all perspective. I used to be fearful of losing $5,000. Now putting $250 on the line doesn't even make me flinch. It doesn't, because I know I'm committed to the goal, and I'm like, hey, I want to figure it out. I have no problem putting EMD down. Because when I put EMD down to get a deal, like I know I'm all in. I'm gonna get the deal, even if the lending pulls out in the 11th hour. And that was the second hotel that we bought. But today, like this last hotel that we bought in San Clemente, and this is a good lesson for your audience, is like the game gets easier as you grow. The problems get bigger, but the game gets easier as you grow. And if you do the right thing, and that's taking care of investors, that's taking care of vendors, that's taking care of your team members, that's building trust long term. If you always do the right thing and make sure that everyone gets taken care of, and you do everything that you say you're going to do as a byproduct of it, the game gets easier. So I gave you the example of the second hotel we almost bought. An SBA lender pulled out in the 11th hour, and that's why I'm like, dude, I don't fuck with SBA lenders anymore. And we had $250 non-refundable, and luckily the seller and the broker wanted to get the deal done, but they could have took our $250. And we got the deal done. But to give you an example of how the game gets easier, the last hotel that we just closed, the Surf Break Hotel up in San Clemente, we had a lot of lenders that wanted to lend. We had a dozen lenders literally within the first like 3 days that the loan package went out. And the lender that funded the deal, they funded it in 7 days. That's crazy, right?
That's wild.
But the last thing I want to say is this. With the entrepreneur stuff, to really be cut out for the game, like you got to be willing to like put in the 12-hour days, and you got to be willing to, be okay when shit gets tough, knowing that every single vendor, every single investor, every single team member, they're all going to get paid first. And so if that means that you're going to lose your own money, or you're going to go through periods and seasons where things get heavy financially to make sure that everyone else gets paid, and you're the last one, then maybe you're cut out for it. But that's how the game works.
Yeah. And that's how it works.
That's how the game
That's
works.
the only way to grow. Only way to grow.
Yes.
Some people get lucky and they start doing 100K months right out the gate, but that's not the way it works.
I want to share one more thing. You asked me what the hardest thing was. The hardest thing was this. It was spring of 2024, and I had just gotten out of a relationship, right? And so she left me, and actually I sent her home. She left me, and shortly after that, I lost a couple team members. And literally right in that same period of time, we had just renovated Hotel Zindel. We had just literally put a $1.4 million full reno in this thing. We did the grand opening party. And then literally right after that, we had San Diego had record rainfall. The most rain San Diego's ever seen in like a 44-year span. All the buildings downtown got flooded out. Our office got flooded out. Podcast studio, even where I live in a brand new A-class building, got flooded out. The hotel got flooded out. 6 of the rooms got affected. And we had to shut the hotel down. It was a big loss. The insurance company didn't, and this is a learning lesson on my end. One of my team members, the one that resigned, she had a phone call with the insurance company, and she told them the wrong information, and they used that against her, and they canceled the whole entire policy. So we had a $600,000 loss on that hotel, and she literally dips out. Insurance is not going to cover a dime, and so I'm like, holy shit, what am I going to do? So I had to go over to the hotel, shot a video, shot content, figured it out. We got a couple teams in, remediation team. We had contractors come in. I shot a video. We sent it out to the investors, gave them an update. I'm like, hey, this is what's going on. This is what we're doing to mitigate it. This is what we're doing moving forward. And so looking back, it was a very, very tough season for me, but it made me so much fucking stronger. And what I did was it forced me to hustle. It forced me to go sober. That's when I stopped drinking. And that was the best thing that I ever did for myself. Is I gave up the alcohol and I really dug in. I got focused. We hustled. We figured it out. And we used streams of revenue from the other businesses to make sure that all the investors got paid. They never missed a distribution. Made sure that all the lenders got paid. They never missed a payment. We got the hotel back up and running, and now we're rocking and rolling. But that was a tough season for me, and it made me a hell of a lot stronger. It forced me to become a better leader and a better version of myself.
I remember that time because I think that's when I kind of came into your world through the mastermind. And I think
right after that,
yeah,
certain doors won't open for you until you become the version of yourself that can walk through them. Every time you become a new version of yourself, a new door gets unlocked. And that was that prime example right there. I needed to become a better version of myself in order to open a new door. And so right before I met you, that was me working on my version of myself so I could meet you in Cabo San Lucas.
In Cabo. That's right.
Let's go, baby.
That was the start of...
But you were saying what?
I just remember thinking how committed you were to making sure that the investors were taken care of. And the reason I'm talking about this for people listening is because you have to look at your business. You have to figure out who your customers are in your business. And you have to be someone who's willing to do customer service for your customers. And in the real estate world, it's your investors, right? They are your customers. They're not the guests at the hotel. They're not the people that rent the storage units, whatever. It's the people that you have relationships with that are giving you money, right? But it's not about the money. It's about how you take care of them, how you communicate with them. And so I think you put a lot of money on your line, if I remember correctly, like with that specific deal. And I remember thinking like, I hope I have a problem that big to solve in the future where I have a hotel that floods and I'm able to go create content and I can go be in the situation where I can go take money out of my own personal account and go distribute it out to the investors so that I can take care of them the way that they've been investing with me.
100%, dude.
That's right.
And that's how this game works. Like, for anyone listening to this, like, if you want to build a big thing, you have to take care of everyone involved. And so for us, like, I'm going to build $1 billion real estate portfolio with Summers Capital. And I know the only way to fucking do that is to take care of all my investors, always do what I say I'm going to do. And then all of our lenders, always take care of them no matter what happens. All of our vendors, everyone on our team, our VAs over in the Philippines, all the on-site staff at all the hotels, like literally everyone. And that's how you win the game. You build trust. And you do it at scale, and you repeat the process.
That's right. All right, next one. Rich Summers, friendly reminder. If someone tells you that your dreams are impossible, they've revealed their limits, not yours.
The majority of the people in this world are naysayers. The majority of the people in this world are pessimistic. It happened when I was leaving my 11-year government career and cashing out my 401k to get into real estate investing. Everyone told me it was too risky. Everyone told me why it was not going to work. Friends, family members, coworkers, colleagues. And my biggest takeaway is this, looking back, all those risks are real. So put some weight on them. But on the other side of the balance scale is another risk. And it's this. I could be 80 years old one day, laying in my bed, staring at the ceiling, kicking myself because I never fucking tried anything in life. How about that risk? That's a risk too that a lot of people don't allude to. And so when I think of it big perspective, like, you got to stop going to like people closest to you for advice. Most people, unfortunately, go to their friends, their family members, their spouse for advice. But in all reality, those people have not done what you're looking to do. So if you're looking to get into real estate investing, why are you going to go talk to people that have never invested in real estate? If you're looking to go start a business in the fitness space, why are you going to go get advice from people that have never started a business before? They might not even be in shape, and you're going to go take fitness business advice from someone that's not in shape and never started a business before. So one of my favorite lines is, stop listening to the people closest to you and start listening to the people closest to your dreams. It's the quickest way to improve your life.
Why do people feel like they need to project their own insecurities onto other people?
Because it makes them feel better. It validates why they're not taking action.
Yeah, I think it keeps people safe in their own world.
Yeah.
People are so focused on others, and then you put yourself out into the spotlight, you put yourself out in the limelight, and it creates somebody that they can go project their own insecurities onto and tear down and comment on, and they turn into a spectator. There's that quote about the man in the arena, right? That you're not, and I don't know the full quote right now, but basically you're not really doing it until you step into the arena. You want to become the man in the arena, but let's take a football team, for example. There's 22 players on the field.
Mm-hmm.
How many thousands of fans are in the stands? And then how many millions of people are watching? So you got 22 people in the arena,
Mm-hmm.
and you've got millions of people outside of the arena commenting, cheering, jeering, throwing, whatever insults. And that's what I feel like it's like as being an entrepreneur, someone putting yourself out there, is that you're in the arena doing it, and there's a lot of spectators that are projecting their own things onto you while they sit in the stands, and that's all they can do is just comment.
Monday morning quarterback.
I
always say it's okay to cut friends who are no longer aligned with the person that you're trying to become. You can't grow with people that don't like how growth looks on you. And unfortunately, I think a lot of people are afraid to have those tough conversations. They're afraid to cut out certain friends. But in all reality, like, you have to cut people out of your life in order to grow. There cannot be any growth without change. And so I used to be around a lot of people when I was younger that were like naysayers, pessimistic, always have some sort of input and judgmental people. And I just thought that was normal. Like growing up, I just thought that was normal. I'm sure like you probably had some of that. I'm sure people listening to this right now, like I'm sure you guys all have someone in your life or you grew up with someone that was like that. I just thought that was normal as part of the game. Like these were friends of mine. And they would always be like pessimistic and be like, hey, that's never going to work. Like, why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? Some people probably have relationships to where their spouse, their partner is like that. And I just want to say, like, I want to put it out there, like, that is not normal. I've removed all of that from my life. Like one of my best friends growing up, I had to remove him from my life in 2021. It was a very tough conversation. We were best friends for like 18 years, but him and his girlfriend were very pessimistic, very judgmental. And I had to have a very tough conversation. I was raising money for my very first deal in 2021, apartment building out in this is the Arbors Townhomes, 150 units out in Greensboro, North Carolina, which we still own today. I was raising money for that deal, and I remember, and this is in 2021, I remember talking to him about it, and he was like, why are you coming at me asking me for money? Why would I invest in your deal? And it's crazy because like when we like raise money, that's not the feedback that we get. People are like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. I didn't even know this was an opportunity. I'd love to learn more. Or if they're not interested, they'd be like, hey, like now's not a good time, but please keep me in mind for the next time. And good luck with your raise. Good luck with your deal. That's what most people say in my circle. And when we would go out to eat, he would be like, I remember he would be like, him and his girlfriend would be like, I like to tip people well. That's just who I am, right? And so if I go out to eat, restaurants, go out to whatever I'm doing, I like to take care of people. That's just who I am. I like to come back to the same spots, and like I want to be welcome when I come back. I want people to be like, yo, what's up, Rich? Like, we want to serve you, right? And so I remember him being like, why are you tipping so much? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? And every time I walked away from an outing with him, I didn't feel good about myself. And so it was a very tough conversation. But in 2021, I decided to remove myself from that conversation, and we haven't talked since. And so that's why I say it's okay to cut friends who are no longer aligned with the person that you're trying to become. And the truth is, you just can't grow with certain people. That's just how the game works. And so I removed myself, and now I've grown a lot as a function of it. And the last thing I'll say is this. Now my circle is like all uplifting, positivity, forward thinking, like-minded individuals, action takers, the doers, the 1%. And there's no negativity in my circle. I do not allow any negativity in my circle. And the second I hear it from like some outsider, I'm like, no. Pull back. That person's not in my circle. I don't allow it.
The pessimism and the complaining, you said it's not normal.
It's normal for a lot of people.
It's normal, but it's not the right way to live. And it's I know what you mean. It's not normal. It's not the way it's supposed to be.
Scarcity.
It's scarcity. It's lack. It's negative energy. I didn't realize how much I was in it. My own family, a lot of my friends, people get together, and it's like I leave those engagements, the dinners, the parties, the whatever, the one-on-ones, and I'm just like drained because everyone's so focused on other people and tearing them down. And you don't realize it until you start to try to do something on your own, right? Once you stop complaining, or even if you're aware of other people and the negativity that they bring, you'll start to see it more and more and more. And it's going to become this thing that you can't ignore any longer. You're going to recognize it in your own behavior. Once you cut that out, that's when things change, because then you have the confidence to go have the conversations with your friends, with your family, or not even have it at all. And you can just stop talking to people. And like, that's that, right? And I think that's okay, because what got you here won't get you there. And who got you here won't be the same people that are with you in the future for your next level.
That's a really good takeaway. And in 2022, I had to remove myself from my partners. My same two partners that we were all air traffic controllers together. We all cashed out our 401ks together. We all bought our first couple apartment deals together. I still own a couple deals with them today. But in 2022, I had to have a very tough conversation and remove myself from that partnership for the very same reasons that you're alluding to right now. We had a different level of risk tolerance. They didn't believe in a lot of the same visions that I did. They did not want to put out content. They didn't want to go all in on the podcast. We had a podcast together. And so we had a different level of risk tolerance. And because of that, every single decision that popped up, and when you're in the game, you're truly in the game of business and real estate investing, there are dozens of decisions to make every single day. And every decision was a 4-hour grueling meeting. It would take an entire week to make one decision. I'm like, dude, you can't grow that way. And so I realized that I was no longer going to reach my full potential under that partnership. And they were very, very risk averse. And that's not how this game works. Like, you have to be okay with the unknown. You have to be okay with the fact that things are going to pop up. And when things pop up, you have the resources, the wherewithal, and the intelligence to go out there and find a solution and push through it. And so I had the tough conversation. I ended up splitting up with them. And I said, it was tough because we had investors, we had deals together. At the time, we owned 3 deals together. Today, we still own 2 deals together. And I said, you guys keep the podcast. I'm going to start my own. They just came from a different place, bro. It was a place of scarcity. I love those guys. Nothing bad to say about them. But the crazy thing is this, bro. I just found out that one of them is back at the air traffic control place.
Damn, what happened?
And they stopped doing the podcast. They haven't done the podcast since July of last year. And I don't know. I haven't talked to them. But I was at an outing, and I ran into one of my old coworkers for the first time in a long time. He was like, hey, your boy's back at the air traffic control facility. I'm like, what boy? He's like, your old partner. I'm like, that's crazy.
When I ask people about why they're not taking the risk or taking the leap or taking the jump into the thing that they want to do the most, I ask them, like, what's your worst case scenario? I'm like, well, I would just go back and go back to working my job. I would just go back to working the job that I'm working now, or I'd find another job. And I'm like, bro, your worst case scenario is what you're doing right now. Right now. When you realize that life is short and the amount of time that you actually have to go after your dreams and do the things and have an able body, and that you're living your worst case scenario right now, like how much more motivation do you need to just go all in? Like go experience life, become the biggest version of yourself that you absolutely can become. Like to hear that you were playing Madden or fantasy football is wild to me. My other mentor, Dan Martell, to hear and look and see where he was to where he is now, I'm seeing real time with you who you used to be to who you're becoming and who you're going to become in the future. And that for me is proof. And that's why like getting around your mentors and really thinking about what you want out of life and just fucking going for it is the only option in life. Whatever it is.
Yeah. If you don't have confidence, go give yourself a reason to be confident. And I always say, action leads to competency. Competency leads to confidence. But the last thing I'll say about what you just alluded to is this. It's funny because I hear a lot of younger people that are in their 20s, early 30s, and they're like afraid to take a risk. And it's like, dude, when you're in your 20s, like, what do you have to lose? You have nothing to lose. This is where you should be taking all the risk. You have no kids, you're not married, you don't have any money, you're broke, you're working at a job you fucking hate. Like, what are you afraid to lose? You have nothing to lose at that point. And so why wouldn't you go all in? Why wouldn't you go all in?
If I would have spent the time that I spent dedicated to corporate in my 20s, I can't even tell you where I'd be right now. And it's not out of regret.
Me too.
I don't regret it. I don't think about it that way. I just think about, wow, I went so hard for another company. If I would have done that for myself, I just can't even imagine what's possible. And so part of me is like making up for that time and like going all in and trying to experience the world and meet as many people as I can and go have as many amazing conversations as I have.
But do you feel, because I have a similar background, right? I spent 11 years working in a government career and I forfeited 11 years of my life doing this. But do you feel like that step was necessary for you to actually be where you are today and actually appreciate where you are today?
100%. Yeah, that's why I don't regret it, because I am who I am today and it's giving me the thing. But there are parts of me that are like being in that culture, that government, because I didn't have a specific government job like you, but it was very close to being a government job. They gave me a ton of opportunity. They let me go do my thing. I hopped around. I did a lot of great things there, but the culture keeps you small. It's just built, like when we talked about systems earlier, the capitalistic system and creating middle class, in government type jobs, the culture does the same thing. It creates and molds you into what they want you to be inside of that system. And that was totally against who I was. And so the only regret that I have is that I do believe that being in that culture for so long kind of with my mind a little bit and my confidence to take more risks, to take more action, to envision my future self a little bit. So I'm like breaking out of that. I'm not blaming them. I'm not saying any of that. It's just kind of a recognition that if you're in a culture like that, the longer that you stay in there, the longer you're going to be affected, and it's going to be harder to make the leap, to make the jump, to fully step into everything that you've been trying to do. At least that was my experience.
Oh, for sure. 100%. Yeah. 100%. But you did it.
I did. And I'm going to keep going hard.
You broke out of the system.
I did break out of the system, and I'm still going. So, all right, next one. Decrease the time between having an idea and executing, and everything changes. Money loves speed. Poverty loves indecision.
This is a good one. This is a really good one. This is the number one thing that I hammer with my team. I'm like, I don't care if you guys make the wrong decision. I want a quick decision, and let's roll this out quick. The more time that you allow to give yourself between having an idea and actually doing the thing, the less likely that you're actually going to do the thing. Most people have an idea, and then they go into a planning phase. And then after they had come up with the plan, then they take action. But the problem with that's most people. The problem with that is the plan is never going to be perfect. Conditions are never going to be perfect. It's never going to be the right time to start. There's always going to be a million reasons not to start. And so people actually never end up starting. Successful people, they have an idea, they commit to the target, and then they figure out how. And so that's why I always say, like, whenever I have an idea with the team, I'm like, hey guys, like when we started the hotel mastermind, I didn't know anything about masterminds. Everyone that's coming on my podcast are like talking about their mastermind communities. I'm like, damn, this is a cool thing. And I was like, okay. And I was like, damn, no one had a boutique hotel investing mastermind. And so I came in the office one day And I was like, hey guys, we're gonna start a boutique hotel investing mastermind. And I didn't know if I didn't think I was ready at the time, but I didn't want someone to beat me to it. And so I told the team, I'm like, hey guys, we're gonna roll out a boutique hotel investing mastermind. And they're like, okay, well, what are we gonna teach? What are the courses? What's the material? I'm like, guys, none of that matters. Let's just go and get some customers. So I went on social media. The truth is, if you're a business owner or real estate investor and not putting out content, it's going to be hard to compete in 2026 and beyond. I started building my personal brand 3 years ago from scratch. And since we've gone from 4,000 to over 600,000 followers. And today we're averaging 24 million views per month across all the different platforms. And it literally drives 85% of all the leads for my business. This is why I started the 7-Figure Creator, a private community with 130 plus business owners and investors. We focus on how to scale your personal brand from social media, podcasting, and ultimately how to monetize all that attention to get more leads for your business so you can make more money and ultimately buy back your time. So if you're ready to take the next step, DM me on Instagram at Rich_Summers, DM the word action, and I'll send you all the details. Now back to the show. And I went on Instagram and I put out a couple of videos. I was like, hey, if you want to get in the boutique hotel investing game, take advantage of the tightening Airbnb regs and the 40 million retired baby boomers, click the link below. I'm going to be hosting a free 1-hour webinar next week, Tuesday night, blah, blah, blah. I knew nothing about masterminds. I knew nothing about webinars at the time. I believed in mentorship though, because we had paid, my two partners and I that we broke up, we paid our mentors, one of our podcast guests, $70,000 to teach us the apartment game, John and Tony Azar. And that's what taught me how to underwrite bigger deals, all that. That's what got me in the game. And so I believed in the mentorship already, but I knew nothing about masterminds. I was like, what the fuck is a mastermind? And so I already knew the value that those things can be. And I knew my value. And so anyways, long story short, we have 110 register. We have 77 show up to this 1-hour webinar. And I present for 30 minutes why boutique hotels, why Airbnb is going away, case studies of our deals. And then I did a Q&A. Before the Q&A, I was like, hey, there's 77 of you in this call, and for the first time ever, I'm rolling out a brand new opportunity for just 4 of you who are ready to take your real estate game to the next level and committed to buying a boutique hotel. Click the link below, and we can talk about the opportunity. I'm going to get into some Q&A. I don't want to answer questions about the opportunity. If you want to learn more about the opportunity, click the link below. We had 16 book calls. We did $220,000 in gross revenue from a 1-hour webinar. And then I went to the team and I said, now let's figure out what we're going to teach. And that's the birth of the mastermind. And so to go back to the original quote, that's how I operate. And I'm like, dude, as soon as we have an idea, I'm like, let's go fucking do it. We're going to do it right now. And let's just go test the market. And if there's something there, we'll lean into it. We'll throw gas on it. We'll double down on it. But if we test the market and there's no demand, we're like, we'll just table it and we'll go a different direction. And so I think so many people spend so much time going into this plan and they're like prepping coursework. I was talking to some guy the other day. He's been prepping for his mastermind for 9 months. Courses, videos, tutorials. I'm like, you don't even know if someone's going to buy it. You haven't even tested the market yet. You might have just wasted 9 months. And I'm just like, dude, no, like, let's just go test the market. And if there's something there, we'll lean into it. If not, we'll just pivot. And that's how I operate. And that's how I've always operated. And so my team knows it's the number one thing that we go by is like quickness. Money loves speed. Poverty loves indecision.
I think this is a Hormozi, I don't know if it's a quote or somebody's talked about. Most people are like, oh, I'll have a due date of like next week. So 7 days from today to figure something out. If you can decrease the deadline of a decision from 7 days to 1 day, you've just 7x'd your output. You can create 7 times more opportunities by just decreasing the time it takes you to make a decision. And think about what that means for a business that's trying to generate revenue, trying to generate sales, trying to help people. If you can implement something 7 times faster, bring on 7 times more customers, whatever that is, what does that actually mean for you from a revenue standpoint, right? If you did 250 on your launch, now we're talking 1.4. You know, I'm using fake numbers, but
for sure.
But people's default is to delay and think about and plan. Like, how did you learn to decrease the time between making decisions?
I think it was through the reps and the at-bats. Like, I never grew up this way. I grew up risk averse. My parents are very, very tight with money. My mom's an immigrant from Taiwan. And so she's always worked like retail jobs where she's traded her time for money, like low income jobs. And she's always saved every single penny that she's ever earned. And she's still that way today. When I go home today, she'll tell me like, hey, turn the lights off. Like, literally she says this in Taiwanese. She says, 把钱关掉. I'll never forget this. This is the only thing I know how to say in Taiwanese, but it means turn off the lights.
Wow.
Because even today, she's like coming from a place of scarcity. That's just how she is. And so I was always raised this way. And so when I got into business and entrepreneurship, I was always afraid of taking risk. And I was always defaulted in like, oh, I got to go in this planning phase because I don't want to make a mistake. And so it was through the reps and the at-bats, like the first 11 unit building that I bought in Cincinnati. I didn't know this at the time. I thought I was just getting into the real estate game, but I didn't know it would lead to all this. But that first deal gave me a little bit of confidence. And I learned some mistakes through that deal. And that gave me some more confidence to do a second deal, and a third deal, and a fourth deal, fifth deal. And now 14 deals later, I'm become a different version of myself to where I'm like, oh, I realize money loves speed. And the quicker I can like actually put my stuff into execution, put my ideas into action, the quicker we're going to move. And like you said, it's all about making decisions. And I tell my team, I'm like, guys, I don't care if you make a wrong decision. Well, let's just make a decision and go. And the truth is we're not going to get 100% of the decisions right. I'm certainly not. We're all speculating. We're all taking calculated risks, but let's use the information that we have at our knowledge. And let's make the best calculated decision and roll with it. And if it's the wrong one, we'll learn and we'll pivot. And if it's the right one, we've tabled so many ideas. Dude, I'll try anything as long as it's going to create us a lift. And it's not going to consume too much of our time. And we've tabled so many ideas throughout the years where I'm like, dude, it's not a big deal. Like, that's why I've said, like, let's just go test it. And if it's not there, cool, not a big deal. We don't have to roll it out. But we learned something from the marketplace. What does the marketplace want? What's the appetite? If you don't know the appetite, why are you going to spend time building something?
Product market fit.
Yeah.
And so how do you deal with people's perception of trying all these things and the potential perception of chaos or bouncing around or not being consistent? And I'm not saying that you are, or that that's the perception, but I think people procrastinate because they want to look perfect. Procrastination is perfectionism in disguise. And part of that perfectionism is how you're perceived by others. And so how do you deal with the perfectionism or people's perception of who you are as a person?
Can you elaborate on that?
With the scarcity mindset, because I come from it too. When I'm visiting my family,
yes,
they're turning off the lights behind me. Just every room. I've had to like let that go.
Yeah.
Because that's just who they are, right? But so I come from the same world. And it's in me too to want to be perceived as having my shit together. And I think that's where a lot of people's indecision comes from, or procrastination, is they want to make sure that when they show up, everything looks good, it's all turned on. We spent all this time on building the setup today. Want to look perfect, quote unquote perfect, right? If you are trying a bunch of different things and they're not working, quote unquote not working, people might think something about you. And again, I'm not saying directly you specifically, but I think for me or others that are in this position of like, how do I try things? How do they then fail or not work? And then how do I deal with what people think of me based on I'm going to try a bunch of stuff and not be perfect at it?
I think the easiest way is just to like be open about all your wins and your losses. Like I talk about everything with like everyone. So like my team, we do a Monday morning L10 meeting every single morning. We all have our KPIs. You saw our content KPIs yesterday. That's just like 5% of our total KPIs. All of our stuff's out there. And so my team knows what we're doing, the pivots, the stuff that we test, the stuff that we table, the wins, the losses, where everything is. And, by you having a podcast, that's also another very good platform to put yourself out there. And I would challenge anyone that is maybe dealing with that same notion that you're dealing with, in that the more genuine you are and the more you talk about everything that you're doing, the more people that are going to be gravitated towards you, the more trust that you're going to build at scale. And ultimately, people do business with those they know, like, and trust. Obviously, not everyone's going to be gravitated towards you. That's just part of the game, and that's okay. And so I say, fuck it, like, talk about everything. Like, I'm very transparent, and I think transparency and authenticity is what sells. And so I think a lot of people are afraid to put stuff out there. I'm like, dude, put it out there. Put it out there. And that's how you win the game.
If you want to make real money, shake more hands, be useful to people with big money, solve rich people problems. You don't need one more degree. How do you become useful to rich people?
You have to solve big problems. There's so much money out there in the world. The federal government has printed 80% of the money supply since 2020. There is so much money out there that everyone can win. You just got to go out there and get it. And so the best way to make more money is to solve bigger problems. And you need to solve those problems for people that can afford your services. And if you think about it, people that have money understand the game. They're busy too. They have problems. They understand the game though. When we raise capital, my investors that invest $300K, $400K, $500K, like one of our investors, every time we have a round, he's in for $300,000. The only question out of his mouth is, what's the wire instructions? But when we get on a new intro investor call, and every now and then I'll make an exception with an investor to come in below the minimum. But in the past, anytime I brought in someone below the minimum, not all the time, but sometimes, those are the ones that are going to ask 99 questions, jump on call after call after call. And don't get it twisted. I'm always more than happy to jump on and walk through an investor through all the scenarios. But a lot of the ones that take a lot of your time call you after the fact, hey, something came up. Can I get my money out? Da, 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 da. Asking a million questions. Those are the ones that are investing with a scarcity mindset. And so I just tell those people, I'm like, hey, I don't want your money. I don't think that you should invest with us. It's not going to be a good fit. I'm like, you should go do this instead. And so you don't know what you don't know, but as you grow through the game, you get to recognize who you want to invest with you and who you don't want to invest with you. And so the same thing goes with what we're talking about. Solve bigger problems, and that's how you make more money. There's a lot of money out there. The bigger the problem you solve, the more money that you'll make.
Yeah, and there's this idea of like, oh, well, I want to help people that need help, or the regular guy, the average Joe, like whatever you want to say. There's this idea of like, well, I want to stay small and I want to help these individuals or these types of people.
Then do that. You're going to have a lot of headaches, and you're going to have a lot of people pulling you in a million directions, and you're not going to make any money, and you're not going to pour into your customers because you're not going to be making any money. You got to take care of yourself first. Make sure that you're getting paid and compensated fairly for your time, and you actually have clients that you value. And that's how this game works. Look at the Airbnb game. We got, we have luxury Airbnbs, and we got a couple Airbnbs that we manage for clients out in Indianapolis, where sometimes middle of the week rates are like $59, $69 a night. Those $69 a night Airbnb guests are the ones that are complaining the entire stay, and then at the end of the stay, they ask for a refund. The $5,000 a night Airbnb guests out in Scottsdale, those are the ones that check in. They drop $20,000 in a stay. You never hear from them. Then they drop you a 5-star review. So which client do you want to serve?
And then if you're solving rich people problems, this is the thing where people get mixed up. If you're solving rich people problems, one, you are building a bigger business so you can pay yourself. You can live the life that you want. You're not just running around with your head cut off, like putting out fires because you can't hire people because you've built a small business. And when you make more money, if you want to help people, if you want to help these other people that you think deserve it or do deserve it, the more money you have, the more resources you have, the more access to people that have money and resources, the more people you can actually help and serve, because you are making more money. And what solves problems in this world is access to the right people and the money that can go help solve the problem. So you actually, instead of just like if you're doing a group coaching program, instead of doing one-on-one all day, every day, and you can only max out at, 10 people a week, you can do a group coaching program, hundreds, thousands of people you can help, and you're actually making more money that way, and you're helping more people, right?
Bro, and people that have money, they get the game. People that have money have way bigger problems to worry about than, is this $25,000 investment going to work out or not work out? Is this $2,000 deposit, is this going to work out or not? What's the biggest risk around it? People that have money, they have way bigger problems to worry about.
Yeah.
Like when I get on a call with a freaking like vendor and like we're going to do some sort of third party thing, like I don't know, like I don't like all the fluff. I'm a no fluff type of guy. I'm like, I don't have time to waste. What's the price? I'm ready to move forward. I don't need all the fluff. And so tell me the price and let's rock this, or I'm not going to do it.
Rich people pay for convenience.
And speed.
Yes. Rich people pay for convenience and speed. Here's the secret. For anyone that's in a service-based business, let's say you're a landscaper, there's no difference between you doing landscaping on an expensive neighborhood versus a lower-class neighborhood other than the customer and the amount of money that you'll get paid for the same amount of work. All you have to do, show up, do the work that you said you were going to do, communicate with the owner, and you will be able to charge whatever you want to charge, because that's what rich people want, is they want to not have to think about it. They want to know that you're going to show up and do a good job, and then they appreciate you, right? Just because they're not sitting there talking with you for an hour or all of that, they pay for convenience and speed, and then just knowing that the job got done.
I will say this, man. What a beautiful time that we live in. Regardless of all the hoopla, all the naysayers, all the bad news in the marketplace, like, this is the best time ever in the history of America to be alive. Technology, AI, YouTube. We can listen to podcasts like this and listen and learn more listening to a podcast than we can going to a 4-year university. And so the ability to like literally gain information and gain knowledge, which is what the game is all about, is literally at the tip of our hands. And we can access knowledge and gain information so quickly today. We can like literally have an idea on a Sunday night and we can roll out the idea and start a business on Monday morning. We have social media. 4.8 billion people are on social media. 4.8 billion with a B people are on social media. We have 40 million baby boomers retiring in the next 6 years. This is the greatest transfer of wealth in American history. Currently, the baby boomers own about 51% of wealth in America, and the millennials own less than 10%. All this wealth is going to transfer, all these businesses, all the real estate. And so if this does not get you excited, this game simply might not be for you. But man, I'm excited. I'm amped up. I'm fucking pumped up, man. I cannot wait to get it. This is just the fucking beginning, man. And for anyone listening to this right now, if you position yourself correctly, if you are an action taker, you ask questions, you're curious, you learn, you're always reading, you're always listening to podcasts, and you do the right thing and you become a good person and you treat others well, you're going to have more opportunity than you ever thought were possible over the next 6 years. I'm so excited.
The most dangerous man is a focused man with no distractions and a life partner who holds him accountable for turning his dreams into reality. You had a reel that went viral a while back. It was you and your girlfriend, and there was some text. There was no speaking. It was a bunch of images and video of the two of you separately, and there was a bunch of text. I'm going to read some of the text that was on there.
Okay.
She was perfectly created as a woman. I was perfectly created as a man. She doesn't need to work because I like to provide. She likes to nurture. We do everything together. They say you can't find love at a bar. I say create your own reality.
And read the beginning of that. What was the beginning of the hook?
She was perfectly created as a woman.
Was that the hook on that one? Okay, got it. So, by the way, shout out to my girlfriend, Presley.
Amazing.
I'm so proud of her.
Amazing human.
I'm so proud of her. She was a bartender for many years. She would drink at the bar while she was working. I actually met her at the bar when she was drinking. And, but she's been sober for 260 days now. And it's completely changed her life. Like, completely changed her life. She is in the best shape of her life. Her mindset is completely shifted. She's growing. She's progressing. I'm so stoked to be with her and very proud to call her my girlfriend. But the life hack is having a partner that supports you, invests in your dreams, and is 100% all in with you. One of the biggest distractions that anyone can have right now is being single, running around, setting up dates for the weekends, going out to the bars, drinking, like just setting up dates and going to all these bars and dinners and outings and all that. Like, that's a second full-time job. And so to be able to like literally reallocate all that time that you spend drinking, going out on dates, dating girls, talking girls, texting, emailing, DMing in the Instagram, like girls sliding in your DMs and all that. If you reallocate all that time into building your dream and actually putting it all into your passion and whatever it is that you're building, I don't care if you're in the fitness space, insurance space, whatever the fuck you're into, all that time compounded over weeks, over months, over years is the difference between someone making it to the college basketball level and someone making it to the NBA and becoming Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan. It's a lot more fulfilling. It is the life hack and is the ultimate growth hack, I believe, that there is out there, is having a partner that is 100% all in with you and you guys are building it together. It's a beautiful thing. And God, I love it, man. It gets me so excited talking about it because we do everything together. We're sober. We do everything together. We're going to the gym together in the morning. I get off work. I at the office. We're going walking together, hiking. We do so much together, man. It's so much fun. We're on the boat in Catalina together. We travel together. We have a good time together. We laugh together. We have fun. But it's also like it's someone that I can talk to about everything that I'm going through.
What changed for you when you two committed to each other?
Honestly, like everything. It gives me more confidence. What changed for me is all the distractions were cut out of my life, and it allowed me to like really focus on growing what's important to me and growing this empire. And she's like right there next to me, alongside me, and she's building her stuff too right now, which is very exciting to see. And she's working with Heather Wolk. Shout out to Heather, who was on my podcast not too long ago. But I went to Heather Wolk and I said, "Hey, I'm gonna pay you. Will you mentor my girlfriend?" And she didn't have like a one-on-one program for that, but she was like, "I'd love to." So we paid Heather for the information, and I'm a big believer, and so are you, of like going to someone that's already doing what you want to do at a high level, and you pay them for the information. And so that's what we did with Press. And so now Press is working directly under Heather, and she's building her fitness brand, and she's going to have her own fitness brand online, which is really cool. So I'm excited for it, and I'm excited to see all the growth. But dude, I'm telling you right now, it is the biggest life hack to have a partner that's that holds you accountable for reaching your full potential. It's the deepest love language that you could receive.
I agree. And my wife is that for me also. People don't realize how important of a decision it is of who you're choosing as a spouse. Choosing your spouse is the biggest decision that you're going to make in your life. If you're an entrepreneur, if you're a business owner, having someone that supports you fully and is ride or die down is the only way that you're really going to be happy as an entrepreneur. Otherwise, if they are the type of person that subscribes to scarcity, lack, and all these other habits and things that we talked about, the complaining, the this, or all they want to do is just go to brunch on the weekends and hang out with, whatever, and just do their thing, like they just want to be a housewife or whatever it is, you're going to be sitting there looking at them wondering why they don't have the same desires and goals and dreams that you do for themselves. But you need, in my experience, you need someone that is ride or die supportive of their goals and dreams and your goals and dreams as well. Like together, but separate, right? Because they need to be doing their own thing too, right? And if it's just going through life because that's what they were taught to do, it just, in my opinion, just doesn't work. And I will tell you that 5, 6, 7 years ago, my wife and I were different people. We weren't who we are today. It was not what it's like today. It was hard. It was hard because it was different. There was a lot of scarcity, a lot of lack, a lot of different way of thinking. And now, and this is unique for couples to go through a major shift, a major transformation together and both come out the other side better and together, because we both transformed into new human beings, right? And so I can't emphasize enough the importance of finding the right person, choosing the right person. And then if you're with somebody, having that conversation if you're feeling that certain way. So
having the right life partner is the biggest growth hack that nobody talks about. Some partners will literally, like, I've dated girls in the past that like, look, I'll give you an example. When I left my air traffic control job in 2019, actually I was still working there at the time, but I was getting involved in the real estate space. Dude, I was busy. I was like studying real estate. I was working 56 hours a week. We were living together, my girlfriend at the time. And she felt like my desire to get into real estate was pulling away from our relationship, and it was. And she didn't support it. And so I remember what that felt like. But I ended up breaking up with her as a function of it. And now I've built this whole thing, and now she's trying to slide back in. It's So that's why I say having the right life partner is the biggest growth hack that nobody talks about. The right one will make you dream bigger after each conversation. The wrong one will wash away all your ambitions. Choose wisely.
That's so true. Hot take. A woman who owns real estate is more attractive than a woman who owns an OnlyFans account.
A woman who owns real estate is more attractive than a woman who owns an OnlyFans account. I think there's a stat out there. I'm going to look it up right now as we speak. But I believe that there's more women officially in America that own real estate than men. I'm going to look this up while we talk. Let's see. What percentage of women in America own real estate versus men? Single women in America own a greater percentage of homes compared to single men. A recent study by Lending Tree found that single women own approximately 13% of owner-occupied homes, while single men own 9.8%. So that's data that's on the internet. Women officially own more real estate than men in America. And that's exactly what we were talking about earlier, how a lot of men that are in their 20s right now are living at home in their balanced basement, playing video games, watching fantasy football, and women are out there making a name for themselves. They're hustling, they're getting bags, and they're buying real estate. It's the same reason why, and I didn't do this by design, but I did this from trial and error, is, hiring men and women on my team. I've realized that women are just the better ones for the job. They're less sensitive, they work harder, they're more dedicated, they're more loyal, they show up to work on time. The men are the ones that are sensitive, their feelings get hurt, they don't take constructive criticism very well, they're not loyal, and most importantly, they're the ones that are in it for the long haul. And so for me, man, if you look at my team, it's mostly all women. I do have a couple guys on my team, and they're great. I love them, but the majority of my team is women because of it. I just think they're the better ones for the job.
They're ride or die too. They're
so ride or die.
High quality. You have one of the best teams that I've seen, doing this stuff. So kudos to Alex, Lauren, Megan, everybody on the team.
Oh, shout out to them. I love them.
So getting back to that reel, it went viral. So she was perfectly created as a woman. I was perfectly created as a man. It talks about providing and nurturing. Why is this such a controversial take for people?
I think because you've seen a lot of transgender stuff going on over the last 4 years. I think a lot of kids these days don't even know if they're a boy or a girl. I think it's cool if you want to change your sex or whatever. I think that's cool, but I just don't think that should be pushed onto our public school system. I don't think that stuff should be literally glamorized on social media. I think if you look at who is it? Who's Kylie Jenner's dad?
Yeah, Bruce Jenner.
Jenner.
Caitlyn.
What's her name now?
Caitlyn.
So Caitlyn Jenner, right?
Yeah.
Look at Caitlyn Jenner. Caitlyn Jenner got into some legal trouble, I believe, ran over and almost killed someone.
Did kill someone.
Yeah. Okay. And then 2 months later was named National Woman of the Year. I also don't believe that people, men that become they go over to become a woman. I don't think they should be competing in Olympic sports and in any athletic sports, for that matter. I wouldn't be stoked if I had a daughter and she lost out to a guy that became a woman. I don't think that's cool either. I have no shade on those people. If do what you want to do, I respect it. I have a lot of friends that are homosexual. I don't think I have any transgender friends, but if you are transgender, I'm cool, do it. I just don't think that it should be glamorized.
And so you think, well, so let me ask, because I think it's interesting, the language in this reel about created as a woman, created as a man, nurture, provide. Where are we that those words...
Everything's reversed. Everything's reversed. Look at it. The women are owning the real estate. The guys are at home playing video games.
It's wild. I didn't grow up that way.
You did not?
No. I mean...
You believe that the man should be the provider?
No.
You don't?
No. I just mean, not talking about trans rights or anything. I'm talking about, I would never be able to sit on the couch and just play video games. I was raised to go work. Yeah. For better or worse.
Happiness stems from growth and progress.
I agree. That's where it comes from for me.
Yeah.
Legitimately. It's not wanting to wear myself out. It's not wanting to take less money than it's about building something.
Let me ask you this: when you went out on a date with your wife for the very first time, who paid the bill?
I paid, of course.
Okay, so a lot of men that go on first dates with women, they split the bill on the first date,
Who?
or they're okay letting the woman pay the bill.
Are you serious?
Oh yeah, this is a known thing. Yeah.
I haven't dated in 15 years. So
Sure, this is a known thing, but this is why the roles are reversed today. Like, guys will go on a first date with a woman and they'll let the woman pay the bill. It's a known thing. That's what I'm saying. Like
now,
the roles are reversed, bro.
Interesting. I didn't know that. I mean, is that socially acceptable?
Look, if a guy wants to do that's how you know you're at the wrong table. Like, when you go out to lunch, you go out to dinner, and I see this happen all the time. You know, you'll see a group of friends or whatever. The bill comes and everyone gets out the calculator and everyone's like, okay, this is what you owe. This is what I owe. I didn't have a drink, so I'm going to take this up. What do you owe? Put the money in. I'm like, bro, that's how you know you're sitting at the wrong table. When you level up in this game and you're sitting at the right table, everyone's fighting over the check. They're like, dude, no, I got it. Sometimes when I go out to eat, like, I'll just get up like before the bill even comes and I'll just slip the server my credit card. And I'll be like, hey, make sure this is taken care of, because I don't want anyone else to beat me to it. But that's how you know you're sitting at the right room.
Yep.
And you're sitting at the right table.
I do the same thing. And I've done it even when I didn't even really have the money.
Yeah.
I would do that.
Put it on a credit card. Okay.
Put it on a credit card. Fuck it. I would do it before I had the money. And that's just been something that I've done. I like doing that for other people to take care of the bill. I like slipping off, handing the server the credit card, and then everyone. Part of it is like, I just want people to have a good time and like whatever. We're all.
I don't want things to get weird when the bill comes.
Exactly. It's part of a vibe. It's like a vibe thing almost, right? Yeah. And I just want to give that. I like doing that. But that's where I came from.
But I don't want to ever like I don't want to go out to like lunch or dinner with like people, and then, you know, I think we've all been in a place to where like you go out to lunch with someone, it's like they're like bill comes and kind of like look at you. Like, I don't know. Like, it's just that's not the rooms that I hang out in.
Yeah,
it's just not.
It really says something about you. And I used to call cell phone companies and fight over like $15 an extra charge on my cell phone bill, like argue with them because I had to save the money. I had to save the money.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was a point I just stopped, like, whatever. It's just going to happen. It's not worth my time. And I was talking to my stepdad about this. I was visiting, and there was something with an insurance, something or other. It was like a $150 charge. And I decided, whatever, I'm not going to do it. And I was just kind of telling him about it. And he's like, no, you have to call and you have to do it. It's like, no, like, I'm going to sit on the phone with them for like hours. I don't care. And he's like, no, you have to do it. I was like, why? He's like, because then you let them win. No. Who? How do they win? I lose if I call and sit on the phone for 4 hours trying to dispute a $100 charge. I lose.
Yeah.
They don't win.
You're valuing your time at $25 an hour.
Yeah. So I didn't know that was going on with.
That's why people that wait in Costco line for Costco gas are brokies. They're brokies. If you wait in line at Costco gas, you're a brokey. I mean, go there on a Saturday, you'll see a 30-minute line for Costco gas. Everyone's lined up to what? Save $3? You're gonna sit in a 30-minute line to save $3? You are now officially valuing your time. I mean, do the math. That's $6 an hour. You are valuing your time below minimum wage. Minimum wage in California is $15 an hour. And you're saying you value your time at $6 an hour? And a lot of those people have kids in the backseat. And so they're teaching their kids the value of their time. $6 an hour? People that sit in Costco line gas are brokies.
Yeah, you have to really evaluate. And the shift for me was thinking about growing my income versus saving my expenses. And you have a lesson about this. You say where people focus on saving: $4 Costco gas, $5 Starbucks. Areas that actually matter: negotiating your salary, $20K, house hacking, $30K, starting a side hustle, $40K, decision of college, $50K, mortgage interest, $20K. Stop focusing on $4 choices and start focusing on $40,000 choices.
It's so true. It's so true. And it's exactly what you just alluded to, dude.
Yeah, you can't save your way to being rich. You can't save your way to happiness. You have to grow your income. You have to grow your skill set.
Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Oprah Winfrey, the list goes on and on. None of those folks became who they are by skipping Starbucks.
Friendly reminder: there's nothing the 1% don't want you to know, but there's a lot the 99% refuse to believe.
I think broke people refuse to want to believe anything. Like, whenever you go do something cool, broke people are like, yo, like, that's not fair. How did you do that? But people with money, people with an abundance mindset, people that actually understand the game, people with a growth mentality, people that are actually growing, will be like, hey, how can I do that? It's the same reason why when I was in the break room, when I was working my air traffic control position, and I got to a place 11 years in where I felt stuck. I didn't feel like I was growing, and I knew I needed to make a move. I overheard a coworker in the break room talking about how he just bought a fourplex in Cleveland. See, broke people would be like, oh, it must be nice. Oh, lucky you. But I was like, how did you do that? His name is Mike. I was like, yo, Mike, how did you buy that fourplex in Cleveland? And he was like, go read this book by Bigger Pockets. I'm sorry, go read this book it was a blue book by Brandon Turner on real estate investing. And he said, go listen to this podcast. It was the Bigger Pockets podcast. And I literally read the book and I started reading more books on real estate investing. And I started listening to the podcast. I started binge listening to episodes and I became obsessed, bro. And that's how I learned the fucking game, is by asking questions. And so broke people say it must be nice. People that actually are in the 1% ask, how can I do that too?
That's right. It's not, I can't do that. It's, how can I get that done?
Yes.
It's asking how, it's solving problems. It's knowing that there is a way out of any situation versus the 99% that are stuck in the situations and feel like that there's no way out. Right. And again, anyone out there listening that feels like they're in this and we're attacking you, we are not, because you are listening to this podcast. You are absorbing this information and you are going to take it and you're going to go do something about it. You are not who we're talking about. We are talking about everybody else out there, unless you just listen to this and you don't do anything with the information. Because Rich and I are sitting here spitting game so that you can get a benefit from this. And there's a lot of lessons here. So 99.9% of our daily problems are solved by waking up at 5:30 a.m. and cutting out alcohol. All the answers you're searching for are behind the sacrifice you've been avoiding.
99.9% of our daily problems are solved by eliminating alcohol and waking up at 5:30 in the morning. Dude, it's so true. How many people do you know have all these problems? They're like, oh my gosh, I'm broke. I don't have any money. I need to figure out this financial burden. I'm going through a relationship breakup with my kids, blah, blah, blah. All these problems. I'm like, yo, like, are you drinking? Yeah, I'm drinking. How many times did you drink this last week? I drank 4 times this week. Okay. What time do you wake up? I wake up like 9 o'clock. I'm like, bro, you have all these problems and you're looking for all these answers. You're looking for all this solution. You might be getting on freaking pain meds and freaking prescription drugs to fix your solution. But in all reality, it's like, dude, fucking eliminate alcohol, start getting fit, go to the gym, wake up at 5:30 in the morning. Even better, wake up at 4:30 in the morning and do that for 30 days and tell me your life doesn't get better. Do it for 60 days and tell me your life doesn't change completely. And do it for 12 months, and fuck, that's a fucking entire level up. But I think everyone's looking for all these crazy like hacks and secrets, and I'm like, no, just eliminate alcohol and go to bed on time. It's not just waking up early. It's like going to bed on time is the hack. The best way to wake up early is to set an alarm to go to bed. So I'll set an alarm at 8:30, boom. No phones after 8:30, in bed by 9, fall asleep, wake up early. There's no better feeling than waking up at 4:30 in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, and going straight to the gym, drinking, 32 ounces of water, being hydrated, getting a nice lift in, lifting some heavy weights, then getting out of the gym, have a little protein shake, getting ready. I'm walking in the office. It's 7 o'clock in the morning. I already got my lift in. I'm feeling good. I got my Starbucks, and I'm ready to fucking attack the day, man. I'm ready to get after it. It feels so fucking good. There's so much more energy that comes from being sober, dude. Like, I didn't realize it. I just thought it was normal to be like low energy, always like low motivation, just like sluggish. Like even when you have 2 glasses of wine, like before I like took breaks from drinking, I would go out on average 2 to 3 times per week and have like 2 to 3 glasses per wine. But 2 to 3 drinks on like a Tuesday night, the entire next day, like let's just be honest, you're not operating at 100%. You're operating at like 60% capacity the entire next day. And so if you're casually drinking 2 or 3 glasses of wine 3 times a week, which most people do, that's 3 days out of the 7-day week. That's like, what is that? What's 3 divided by 7? That's about 40% of your entire week is spent operating at 60% capacity. Like think about that. I used to think that was normal. But more importantly than that, bro, your energy levels are so thrown off when you're drinking. And when you stop drinking, like after 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks time of no drinking, you feel it right away. Like your energy levels go through the roof. You're so much more focused. You're more dialed. Your fitness is more dialed. You're waking up early. You're working out. And let's be honest, when you're drinking, like you're going to the gym a couple times a week, but you're not moving the needle. You're not lifting heavy weights. You're not pushing your body. You're not growing. You're not evolving. You're literally just going through the motions. It's not really a real workout. And when you stop drinking, I'm telling you guys right now, anyone listening to this right now, if you've never tried it, just do it for 30 days. You don't need to commit to 100 days. You don't need to commit to 6 months. Like just commit to 30 days of no drinking and going to bed on time. Set your alarm at 8:30, be in bed by 9, wake up early, go to the gym, lift heavy weights, and fucking drink a lot of water, and don't drink alcohol, and do it for 30 days. I promise you, you will get to the end of the 30 days, and if it's for you, you are going to keep it going. If it's not for you, you're hanging out with the wrong people, you don't like it, then that's fine. At least you said you did it, and you're going to give yourself a reason to be confident because you know you can do it. But if it's for you, and you actually have something genuine to build that you care about and you're passionate about, it will fucking change your life in so many fucking ways, dude. It is one of the biggest hacks out there.
When I stopped drinking, I still remember getting home and like sitting on the couch and being like, oh, I've got a lot of time on my hands.
Oh my gosh. It frees up so much time.
I could not believe how much time I had. I had to figure out what I wanted to do. This is before I was like really doing anything entrepreneurial. I had to figure out what to do with my time, right? So anybody that's out there that's like, oh, I've always wanted to do this, or my morning routine, or I want to journal, I want to do some breath work. You want to do all this stuff. If you take one thing away from this podcast right now, like tangible thing,
stop drinking.
Stop drinking.
And again, you don't need to commit to it long term. Just try it for 30 days.
Yeah.
If it's for you, you will keep it going. But just try it for 30 days. And I didn't realize it until, I think I did like 75 days. And then I drank for a little bit. And when I went back to drinking for a little bit, I noticed it. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sluggish. I noticed how sluggish I was. I was like, oh my gosh. And then I did 100 days no drinking, and it felt so great. And then I went back to drinking for like literally like 3 days. And I was like, dude, it's not for me, man. I went back on it.
Why do you think alcohol feels like such a sacrifice to people?
Because I think that a lot of people are not comfortable in their own skin to go out to social events, to go on dates, to go to networking events, to go out to dinner, and be in social settings and group settings without alcohol. I think they needed to let their guard down. I had that same limiting belief. And then what I realized is I can still go do all these activities that I want to go do and be sober. I'll literally just have some sparkling water. I learned to fall in love with Topo Chico, Pellegrino, little side of lemon, side of lime, and I'm good to go. And so I can go do that and go out and, hit all these like events. But like you said, it's the biggest time hack ever, because all of a sudden you wake up and you're like, wow, I have my entire weekend to go focus on whatever it is I want to focus on. And so if you're looking for time and you're struggling, looking for time, like the solution is in what we just mentioned.
Yeah.
Give up alcohol and go to bed early.
Yep. And I have a calendar invite in my phone because I run my life by my calendar. I also have my phone automatically switch everything to gray screen at 8:00 at night. So my phone is completely gray. So if I try to scroll or do whatever, there's no dopamine hit. There's none of that. And I'm asleep by 8:30 or 9:00 every single night. And I'm up at 4:30 or 5, depending on the day, or if I need a little extra half an hour. I love working out every single day. If you're drinking and going to the gym, what you don't know is that alcohol actually prevents the synthesis of protein. And you're putting on more fat and you're not actually synthesizing the protein that you're eating. So drinking is holding back the gains in the gym.
Yep. And your ability to burn fat diminishes. I think it disappears for like a X amount of period.
Exactly. And so something that helped me to quit, recognizing it not necessarily as an addiction, but as a habit. So if you think about all the good habits that you have now and going to the gym, this thing, it's a habit.
By the way, I got to take a photo of this.
Yeah.
Let's go. You said going to the gym is a habit?
So basically recognizing drinking as a habit rather than an addiction, if that feels better for you. Because if you start to think about it as a habit, your body is trained to drink at the same times every day or on the weekends at a certain time, or it's habitual, and you can break a habit. You can create a new habit. And so for anyone out there, if you're struggling with quitting drinking or getting sober, or even if it's not drinking, if it's Xanax or prescription drugs or whatever, think about it as a habit, and you can break a habit, you can change a habit, and you can turn it into a good habit. It doesn't always have to be considered an addiction for you to want to change it or be able to change it.
And if you're struggling to like give it up, like you could be hanging out with the wrong people. And so, like I said at the top of the show, it's okay to cut friends. You don't need to do it forever, but like you need to remove yourself from certain circles for a season so you can go focus on other things for a season. And yeah, I think it's the biggest hack out there.
Some people blame their circumstances for not winning. Others decide it will be part of the story they tell once they win. Choose wisely. What story are you telling?
I'm telling a story of someone that literally knew nothing about business, nothing about real estate at age 33, and came into the game and built a really big thing over time. I'm just getting warmed up right now, 6 years in. But, you know, when I hear people that say, oh, it must be nice, or, oh, I missed that train. I hear it all the time with the podcast. I'm like, oh, people are like, oh, I missed that boat. I missed that train. I'm late to the party. I'm like, no. Like, think about the podcast. Like, the podcast right now, in 2019, we had about 274 million podcast listeners worldwide. In 2024, we ended the year with 504 million podcast listeners worldwide. The number of podcast listeners is essentially doubling every single 5 years. It's undervalued attention. And so when people say, oh, I'm late to the game, I'm like, no. Podcast game is just getting warmed up. And so is a lot of things. And so you came from a corporate background. You were late to the party. Think about all the cats that are like in their young 20s right now, killing it, like big social media brands. They got podcasts, just killing the game, and they're building companies. Like, think of how many years head start they have on you. Same thing for me. I mean, I didn't learn the game until 33. I didn't even discover the game until 33, and I just wasn't introduced to it. I was hanging out with people that then they didn't know about it either, and so I just woke up one day at 33, and I'm like, okay, wow, this is like really cool, and so. The story that I'm telling is like, it's never too late to reinvent yourself. Never too late to reinvent yourself. And, you know, even if you're in your 40s, you're in your 50s, you're in your 60s, it's like, dude, if you want to go do the thing, go do the thing. How many months do you have left?
What is it about the urgency of time for you?
I have 474 months until I hit age 77, and that's 77. How many months do I have until I hit 60? I don't know. But I also think that like taking action keeps you young. If you look at Grant Cardone, Grant's 67 years old right now, and if you talk to him, I mean, he's just getting warmed up. Like, this is just the beginning for him. I see other people that are 67 and they don't look like Grant. You see a lot of people that are in their 40s and like they don't look good, bro. You know, I was doing air traffic control. A lot of air traffic controllers, you're forced out of retirement at age 56. It's a mandatory retirement age. And a lot of those folks retire at 56 and they're dead within 12 months. Alcohol, diet, out of shape. They're not growing. They have nothing. They have no purpose in life, and they die.
I experienced the same thing in corporate. People would retire, and within
it's sad.
A week, so many times within a week, within months, them or their spouse were dead. I saw it in my own family. There was a couple of family members were supposed to retire and live in Hawaii and live on an island and split their time and go live this life. And she got extremely sick, like the moment that they were ready to do that. And I look at people that are in their 20s and wish I had the extra years, but I'm not regretting it. I want to go I don't even care about legacy. I want to go show people what's possible. I want to show people what's possible late in life. I'm 38 years old. I'm turning 39 this year.
Let's go, baby.
Let's
just get
fucking go. I'm just getting warmed up for real.
Yeah.
There's going to be a transformation. And I have a lot to thank for you for a lot of my journey and what I've been doing. Starting this podcast obviously has a lot to do with what you've taught me and been around. And so
this is just the beginning for you, bro. And I will say that like everything that you're building right now, the brand, the podcast, you're speaking on the Boutique Hotel Mastermind, like you're one of the thought leaders, and you're touching a lot of people right now, and a lot of people look up to you. And I've always thought this about you, but like I genuinely feel this about you. Like I think that the world would be a better place if there was more people like you. And I think the best thing that you could do right now is just continue to double down on everything you're doing. And I cannot wait to see where this goes for you, bro. I cannot wait.
I appreciate
You're
that.
building a big thing, bro.
I am building a big thing, and I appreciate that. And the question was about what story are you building, and a lot of people say, "Oh, I didn't expect it to get this big" when they reach that level. But I am visualizing, and I am moving towards something very big, and my expectations of what it is are big. And I'm going to savor every single moment. I'm going to appreciate every single moment. But I also want people to know that I am planning to be super successful, and that things will change, things will look different, and that's what I'm intending to do. But I also am who I am, and I'm going to remain authentic, and I'm going to remain true to my values, and I'm going to show people what's possible as a 38-year-old engineer that quit his job, lived in a van, started a podcast, built an empire, and helped people. And I appreciate you so much, Rich, for doing this. This has been absolutely incredible. We got through like less than half of your life lessons, so I hope we can do this again soon.
We'll have to do a part 2, man.
Part 2.
Maybe on the new boat.
On the boat, for sure.
Yes.
See, we didn't even get to the boat. Well, as always, everybody, I'm Cassidy Warren. He's Rich Summers. This has been For Your Own Good.
Peace.
Peace.
Let's go.